So this week on the Bench Ass Shirt podcast, which currently has intro music playing, it is Danielle's turn to talk about something that I never get right.
And you don't need to get it right. I'm
I
going to
don't
be
need to
talking.
get it right, but at the end of this podcast, we'll get it. But before we start with that, we do have a drink for the day, and our drink is Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream. And we each have a different thing. Like Danielle has a bottle, I have a can. We both have the zero sugar version because we're super health conscious.
No, mine actually isn't. Mine has full of sugar. It just has a darker label. But yeah.
Oh, interesting. Well, Ben and Danielle are full on sugar. I am the zero sugar, but I think they all taste the same. Have you guys had this yet?
No.
You have, Ben, right?
I have to admit that I
have too
last week.
Yeah, this is so. Let's open it and go.
All right.
And I mean, I don't want to. Well, I'm curious what Danielle thinks.
Better than Move already.
Oh yeah, low bar.
Well, I'm gonna drink the hell out of that.
Right, it's so good. I was shocked how much I enjoyed it. It tastes like those little strawberry and cream candies, not Werther's, whatever they were.
Yeah, they were pink and white swirls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you do get the Dr. Pepper, but it's definitely strawberries and cream forward.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna drink that.
And cream forward.
Didn't that sound like I'm a professional white trash pop?
The nose has a bouquet
of strawberry shortcake. The doll.
Yeah, a little bit of strawberry shortcake going on.
Well, last week we struggled with the Coke Move to pin down that horrible flavor.
It's a much more strawberry accurate flavor than like strawberry candy has.
Which is odd because I think it tastes a lot like strawberry candy, but that specific strawberries and cream candy. Which
I was thinking of those little they're in the wrappers with the green top.
Yeah. Twist them off. With the little jelly in the middle, like
they got like some goo.
Yeah. I don't think they're supposed to have goo. I think that means yours is old, but yeah. Although those little strawberry and cream candies, I think taste shockingly like strawberry too. So it kind of goes along with what you're saying.
I don't know that those things. I haven't seen one in I bet 20 years. I mean, do they still exist?
I'm don't know. Somewhere. I'm sure. And strawberry is I like strawberry. I'm not an orange, like a creamsicle kind of gal. That's not a flavor for me, but strawberries and cream, this is good.
I'm a big fan of multiple flavors. My favorite ice cream bar. It's not an ice cream bar show, but my favorite ice cream bar are those it's Good Humor strawberry shortcake with like the crunchies on the outside and like strawberry and vanilla in the inside. That's my favorite ice cream bar.
You used to get them
Good Humor
in the lunchroom for like a quarter.
Oh, you went to a different kind of school than I did.
Actually, that's the only place my kids have gotten them in like lunch and stuff also.
Oh,
they still do it, really?
Yeah, they still have them. They love those things.
And upstate New York, pierogi festivals and ice cream bars at lunch. Unbelievable.
And beating women with pussy willow branches?
Hey,
wasn't that one of the holidays? Or is that just a Saturday?
No, that's Dingus Day. No, on Saturday. On Saturday, we use full-on sticks.
Okay. Wow, good thing I'm recording.
Day after Easter, baby. Dingus Monday.
Oh. It's coming up. I'm going to want a T-shirt. All right, are you ready to?
We're ready to learn
a little bit about Animus Dragons.
That was the word I couldn't think of. See, I've already learned.
All right, so here, you have both educated me on fascinating topics, as has Asher. And this is going to be a little bit different because I want to give you some information. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers in case you ultimately decide to read some of these books. But it's really to build to one specific type of character and talk about that. All right. So if anyone done any reading on the Wings of Fire series? At all familiar with those?
No.
It sounds like something that's on my son's shelf.
Yeah. So all right. So it's Tui Sutherland is the author, and first written in it was July of 2012. There's currently 15 books in the series, and they even have 2 different prequels. Yeah.
Donna should have joined us.
Oh, I'm sure.
Donna's
there's workbooks to create your own dragons. There's graphic novels. Like there's a enough of a following that these books are a lot of fun, right? And so they're also, the reading level is like grades 4 to 7. So just to set expectations, they're pretty young. Leola got so into these books. She and a friend of hers got so into them years ago that we all started reading them. So
she's just out of frame for this, by the way.
She's sitting over there, just the Animus Dragons have become such a thing in this house, which is why when we were saying talk about something you care about, I was like, Animus Dragons. But no, my sister read them, my husband read them, my father-in-law tore through all of them, my mom, and so like these books dominated our dinner conversation for an extended period of time. And all right, so let me give you some information about what this is, right? So they take place in the land of Pyrea, and Pyrea is this dragon-inhabited world, and like the central land mass is actually shaped like a dragon. It's very cute. But all the characters in these books are dragons, right? There are some humans in them. The humans are referred to as scavengers, and we're either food or we're pets. That's all we are. And like when we talk, we sound like chipmunks, right? The dragons just think we're adorable.
So the dragons are the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so
Ben has his reading notebook out. This is like a Malazan or whatever type thing for Ben, where he has to like take notes while he reads. I'm impressed, Ben.
I'm taking notes here.
Yeah.
Humans are pets. That's what I've got.
Humans are pets or food. Depends on how we behave.
Okay.
But so 15 books so far, and each one is in this 5-book cluster. So there's these different prophecies, and then in 5-book clusters, you go through, addressing that prophecy and figuring out what it means. And each book in that series is from a different dragon's point of view. All right. And there are different tribes of dragons. All right. So I'm going to talk about the different types. There are sea wings, so they can swim underwater, hold their breath as long as they need to. Huge tails that splash and make waves.
Same.
There are, Are you a sea wing? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I can hold my breath and splash my tail.
You're built for the sea wing life. There are ice wings, of course, can withstand sub-zero temperatures. They don't breathe fire, but they can exhale this deadly frost breath. Mm-hmm. There are mud wings, very strong. And they can breathe fire if they're warm enough, right? So they can camouflage into mud puddles, that sort of thing. Sky wings, of course, can fly, and they're great fighters, fire. Sand wings are the desert guys, right? So they can survive a long time without water, and they have these scorpion-like barbs on the end of their tail for attacking. So they're pretty kick-ass too. The rain wings can camouflage themselves into anything, and they have prehensile tails so they can climb. And the most important of anything, they have sloths as pets, which I think are much better than humans. So do they
also eat the sloths?
They can, but they're so cute. It's kind of like eating, your pet dog. Apparently, for scavengers, people aren't sure why you keep them as pets. We should be eaten, but sloths really they're cuter than we are, which I don't think any one of us can disagree with.
Scavengers, it's like those people that keep pigs as pets. You're like, pigs are.
There you go. You're right. You're right there with me, Ben. I appreciate that. And then there's night wings, who, of course, they can disappear into the night. And they also have powers. They may be mind readers, or they can deliver the prophecies, right? So these are all of the different categories. Yeah.
Mind readers of other dragons or of...
Mm-hmm. Mind readers of other dragons. Yes. It seems unclear, although I think it's mentioned. They get a sense of what scavengers are thinking or feeling, but it's really mind reading of other dragons.
But it sounds like scavengers, i.e. humans, are pretty dumb anyway. So what would there be to read?
Is lore accurate?
They are dumb, but also some of the dragons do notice that oh wow, scavengers seem to know how to use tools. Isn't that adorable? Oh. And look, one of those scavengers, is that a necklace they're wearing? They know how to make art. So again, we're fascinating. We're fascinating to the dragons. But yeah.
So like a chicken wearing pants. I mean, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we're like the chickens that what is the... Oh my gosh, we were just talking about Muppets. Which Muppet uses? Is it Gonzo that uses all the chickens? We're like one of Gonzo's chickens. Yeah.
I need to get up on my Muppet lore.
Isn't that right? Doesn't Gonzo you have chickens and all
one
of
them
his
uses chickens?
Yeah, I think
could be. I mean, the Swedish Chef uses them, but that's a whole nother
story. We should do an entire Muppet conversation. Okay, but
I have a Swedish chef story for later.
Yes. So those are the dragons of the world and of these series, and you get a different dragon from a different tribe that talks about each story and sort of goes through what they're talking about.
Is it depressing that it's a different protagonist every book?
No, because the way that it tends to work is that the first 5 books deal with Prophecy 1, and so they're all working together. And you get to understand, and it opens up the point of view of the character you didn't quite understand before, right? So you get to see the character you grew to love in book 1 now is sort of a side character in book 2, and goes forward from there. And then in the second set of the next prophecy, those 5 characters that you loved so much, they all become supporting characters, and you sort of get to meet a new crew.
Because that's why I didn't continue reading the Warrior series, which sounds like the same reading level thing with the cats. Because I found out I read the first one, like, oh, I like these characters. And then it's like the next generation, the next book. I'm like, well, I want to learn new people. That sucks.
You would have to learn new characters if you do go into this series. Right. But I think it kind of opened up the world a little bit for me, at least.
I think that's, at least in some fantasy series, that's fairly standard. Multiple points of view, swapping between the characters, right? Like, what's his face? Martin. George Martin does that all the time.
What's his face, Martin? Yeah. Yes. And that's chapter by chapter too, right?
Right.
Or can be. So yeah, you get a whole book to sort of sit with a character for a while, which I like.
But there's no falling in love with one specific dragon, because that dragon is just Uncle Bob in the next one.
Well, yes, they're usually Uncle Bob who still comes to all the holidays, so it's not like they disappear.
Okay.
But what was really interesting is, as we would talk about these books during dinner, the character you were currently sitting with dominated your sense of the conversation, not just where they had been in, like, everything they had done in the other books previous, but like, it's whoever you were currently deep with, that was the most fascinating. And so we would all be at different books and different stages and start to arm wrestle for our favorite character.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. So Animus Dragons. All right. So not every tribe has Animus Dragons, but periodically an Animus Dragon is born in certain tribes. And Animus Dragons have the ability to enchant things, anything. Control things. They can control objects. They can control animals. They can control other dragons. The only limitation to their powers is they can't resurrect the dead. But they can do anything else. I'm not completely familiar with the Green Lantern, but I get the sense that like, isn't the concept of that particular comic that, like, if you can imagine it, it can happen. Isn't that part of what the Green Lantern situation is?
I was thinking Genie from Aladdin.
Yeah, that's where I went too.
Yeah.
Can't bring anyone back from the dead.
Yes.
Can't make anybody fall in love with anybody else.
Of these in each tribe?
No, so not every tribe has them. So there have been some certainly the Ice Wings have them. There's some in the Sea Wings tribes. There's some in the Night Wings tribes, but not every tribe has had them. And so there's some, I went online and did some digging. They think that there was some hereditary gene that came down, across some tribes, but it's not everyone. But each tribe does handle having an animus differently, right? So some sample spells of things that can be done with this power. You can enchant a bowl so that when a specific phrase is said, whatever is in the bowl doubles. So, and it can be anything that's in the bowl, but you can just enchant it to
chips.
Double. Exactly. Yes. Always potato chips.
That's the dream.
You could enchant animals or a specific thing to attack someone. As I was writing this, I thought I could take a custard pie and just have it hit someone in the face, no matter how far away they were, and you just do whatever it is.
How big can the bowl be? Could you make a big bowl, put an Animus Dragon in it?
You are good at this game. You are good at this game. Exactly.
All
yes.
Right.
Right? Are there societal issues around something like enchanting a person to do something? Like, that sure feels pretty...
100%. In fact, having an Animus Dragon in your tribe it's an extraordinary weapon, but it also has been a real problem for a lot of tribes, so much so that they test their children young. Some of those children are just uninvited from the party because of the danger of just what this can be. And the reason is because a lot of the Animus Dragons, they don't turn out so well. doesn't turn out so good for the rest of the group, right? So yes, there's different ways that different organizations handle this or different tribes handle this. It is believed, like the myth of the whole storyline, every time an Animus Dragon uses their magic, they lose a piece of their soul. So the more they cast, the more their soul diminishes.
What if they put their soul in a bowl?
Put their soul. You're great at this game. So yes, this is why I love talking to you. But like it leads to patricide, it leads to massacres, it leads to there's murder and mayhem. Like so, really, by the time you've used so much magic, it is just you're ready to start, hacking away.
Right.
So soul equates with general goodness.
In the books, it does.
Okay.
So
they're humanity, right? And
they're humanity.
Draganity. They're Draganity.
Yep. Yeah. So the Icewing tribes had a really interesting way of dealing with this. They say, great, we find out that you are an Animus. Mm-hmm. Here are the rules. You get to use your power once on your, say, 18th birthday, whatever it is. And it can't be frivolously, and it can't be for yourself. It has to be for the community, for the tribe. So the Icewings over the years have one. Like that's the rule. Is you have your lifetime to think about it, and then you give this gift to everyone.
And then the rest of your life to regret.
I mean, clearly you would just use it as much as you wanted, and then also use it to make your tribe members forget that you used it more than once.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we're really picking apart this 4th grade book.
I think Ben and I might be Animus Dragons because we're all like, well, that's stupid. All you'd have to do is
9-year-olds. How do they fall for this?
And clearly 18 years old is when you have the peak wisdom of what your one act is going to be.
Well, these are dragons. We don't know.
That's true. How old did they live to be?
I mean, maybe.
We start dating at 6, so I'm not sure it's all that old.
Huh. Right.
Yeah, Sean's got the same ring. We're like, hold on a second.
All right.
But they're dragons. The rules, it's all different.
It's all different.
Right.
That's fair.
All right. So here's like some of the things that the Icewings have gifted, right? So just to give some context, the gift of defense. So one Animus gave a shelter, like a shield to their Icewing kingdom that only friends can pass through it. Anyone with ill intent cannot pass through, right? Gift of diplomacy. Bracelets that as people come to visit, they stay warm because it's so cold for any other tribe. So they keep visitors warm when they're wearing these. Or the gift of light, which is it gets dark for most of the year. So there's a tree that the fruit is actually light, and you can take your orb of light and walk around in that regard. So there's things like that. And then I found some fun threads online of different things that other people would gift. And I loved the gift of empathy. Right. So just the idea of being able to understand and the feelings and intentions of someone else. And this one, the gift of organization, a library that repairs any books, scrolls, or papers, and a way to organize it all so that you like basically the Dewey Decimal System for dragons.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was great. Yeah. So you two would go around using your powers at your own discretion, and then at the end zap their memories, and then we have kids out there saying the gift of empathy.
Yeah.
I mean,
if we're coming down to it, I'm not a person who should ever be allowed near a power like this, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
I realize and an angsty 18-year-old me coming up with like my gift to humanity. I give you the gift of subservience.
I would have made everyone listen to Green Day.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Do you remember that time in 3rd grade? Now you shall all have diarrhea forever.
It's like you're making my exact points for me. So here's the thing, right? So there's a character in the books, that you eventually meet who is afraid of their power. Someone who's an Animus who doesn't want to lose their soul. They're afraid of being an Animus, so they really don't use the power until, of course, something happens in the book and they have to use their power to save everybody, right? So, huge spoiler alert, this dragon doesn't turn evil, right? They even though they use their power, they don't deplete their soul. Because the moral of the story is it's not your magic that destroys you. It is your choices, right? And so, one of the dragons say, maybe losing your soul isn't the best way to describe it. The more power you use for anything, the more you feel like you're entitled to use your power for anything, right? So this is why I get really, really passionate about this book. I think it's an incredible parenting tool. And it is the reason why Leola and I can be listening to the radio, we can be watching the news, we can be another movie or show can be on, and all of a sudden I will get taller and I will look at her sideways and she will say, if you start talking about Animus Dragons again right now, I am going to lose lunch. Because I always do.
She's like, wait until I'm 18. You are never going to say anything about Animus Dragons again.
My gift, Mom.
My gift to the world.
Right. So nobody thinks they're the villain ever, right? And we all can justify.
No, Ben and I are pretty sure that we're.
Well, I know that you two aside.
I'm a cute villain, though. I'm a harmless villain.
Here's what I wanted to talk about, and I have no idea. Like, this is it, right? So you now understand the concept of the Animus.
Yeah.
But for me, it's conversations with Leola and with myself and with you both now that the choices we make, it feels like, they sometimes have compound interest, right? The idea of making one small choice for yourself just makes it so much easier to make another choice. But when you really have power, damn, does it become harder to keep your soul clean, right? Like that to me is part of this. And so I really wondered if, like, Ben's already answered, he would be a terrible Animus Dragon. Like, I don't know that I would be able to pull this off. I don't know that I would be able to be a person. Sean, if somebody I knew was able to have Animus powers, you wouldn't scare me. I
see, that's the thing. I talk a big talk. I don't know that I would be a horrible. I don't know. I have come back to me in 18 years. Give me 18 years.
I think it goes in reverse. I mean, given that this is an imaginary thing, then we're not suddenly going to wake up tomorrow and get Animus powers. But at the same time, we do live in a world in which you can acquire an enormous amount of power.
Yeah.
I think it goes in reverse. I think you have to be a little bit devoid of whatever that thing is to acquire that much power to begin with. I think that's how you end up in that scenario. I used to work with this guy for years. We worked together. And every other day he had a new startup plan idea. He was going to make it rich and he put it into effect. And I remember one time, and this is decades ago, but he was just like, it's crazy. Like we've never hit it off. All these different things that we've tried and we've done and we've never turned into a, millionaire startup business owner person. And I was just like, man, that's because you're too nice. Like you make it to that point by being kind of a jerk. You have to lose your niceness. Like that's what you give up to get that. So I think it's the reverse. I think you give it up to gain the power.
All right. So you think somewhere along the way, is there one choice? God, what is that? Wow. Is there one choice that becomes the gap between, or like the bridge between
I don't know.
a little kid or it just deteriorates over time?
Is that the Eminem song? If you had one moment to give it everything. No. I don't know. I don't know that I believe in one choice. Life. It's been too long and complicated of a life, but certainly there are choices that you can make that would put you in those situations all the time. I mean, you always have the option to maybe be a little bit worse of a person and gain a little bit of whatever it is that you happen to think that you want to gain.
I have no idea, like as an adult, for each one of us, had I any kind of level of power at all in my life, right? Which, that's not where I'm saying I'm at, nor ever will be. To start making cleaner choices, better choices like that. I can't speak to how hard that is. I don't know. But I know that as the mother of an 11-year-old now, we talk a lot about just make the next best choice. Like whatever's going on right now, like it doesn't need to be perfect and it doesn't need to wipe everything else clean. Just make the next best choice. And then maybe that's what becomes a habit. And I don't know that everything is different for a kid as for us. You know what I mean? I think that advice kind of holds true for adults too.
Yeah. No, I think so. I absolutely think so. I mean, I made the choice to start buying sodas, and now I've got all this soda in my house, and I'm drinking soda. It.
I'm sorry. It was fun for the show.
That's interesting. That's a neat moral though in the story for what's a fairly young kid book.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I that's why I like it so much. And I really do make her sick. We are watching the news or something about a large business deal comes up on the news, or there's negotiations between two countries,
right.
and just all these things happen, and it really is to me a fascinating topic. So yes, and I thought Sean would be a really fantastic Animus Dragon, actually, and that's not to say I don't think you wouldn't be. I think that
I do agree that Sean would make a very good dragon. Giving Sean limitless power would probably be a positive impact on the overall health of our society.
Mm-hmm. Should probably
But the thing about Sean is that he's such. No, I'm just kidding.
We were just saying we think you'd make a decent Animus Dragon.
Oh, I appreciate that.
We were actually singing your Animus praises. Well, now maybe I should read these books. I'm pretty sure we've got some of them on the shelf because I think my son has read some.
What's the first one? Can you send me the title to the first one?
I absolutely will. Yeah.
I mean, I'll put it in the show notes, but yeah.
Prophecy. I think, but I'll get you the first one. I think that's what the first one is called.
Are they still writing?
I do have questions. Mm-hmm. I do have concerns. I don't think the tribes are very well organized.
Okay. Yeah.
Water is heavily overrepresented. We've got sea, we've got ice, we've got rain. I mean, those
and
really
mud,
just kind of the same
half.
thing. And then mud, which is half water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my fire dragon? Where's my acid dragon?
They're the sky ones?
Swamp dragon. A sky dragon? That's just a dragon.
A swamp is just more water, Ben.
Well, we're already leaning heavy into the water. Let's get some more going.
Oh, I see.
You want mountain dragons? Is that what you're looking for?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Underground dragons?
Oh, there were no mole dragons, I don't think. There should have been some mole dragons.
Mole dragons, that's good.
Tunnel dragons. Yeah. No, there's a lot. There is water represented. You were absolutely right.
Subterranean dragons. Yeah.
Yep.
I have the proud claim to have read a lot of books about dragon in my life.
What are your favorite dragon books?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? So when I was Leola's age, and this is what you should be pointing her towards right now, are the Dragonlance books, which they're a little, I mean, they were written like in the early 80s, and they were written specifically to sell Dungeons & Dragons. Dragonlance is a D&D setting, a campaign setting, and these books are written. So they're a little bit Dungeons & Dragons adventure, kind of, but they're really, really good and fun, especially for a teenager. Those are called the Dragonlance books. Those are the books that got me into reading. Like, the first time my dad had them on the shelf, and he was like, try these. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, whoa.
Are the dragons the characters in those books, too?
The dragons are some characters. It's about people. It's about a world that dragons are returning to. And there's good dragons and evil dragons, and they come in a multitude of colors.
I gotta think, Ben, that you're a fan of the Temeraire dragon. Right?
That was going to be
Naomi
my
Novik.
adult dragon.
Oh, okay.
The Naomi Novik books, yes, Temeraire.
Because Ben's a big Naomi Novik fan in general.
Oh yeah,
that was her series. Like that was her first series, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were her first books. Yeah. So the Temeraire books, Danielle, these would be great for you.
Yeah.
And also Leola, they're not old; they're just a little more boring. Those take place during like an alternate history, Napoleonic Wars, where dragons are real and they are beasts of burden, essentially for humans. And a naval captain for the British Navy captures a Chinese dragon egg, and it hatches on his ship and bonds with him, and then he has to go fight the war with a bond to this different breed of dragon that the people of the West don't really know much about.
That's the multiverse I want to live in.
It's a pretty cool universe. It's a very...
Yeah, I think I've read the first like 3 or 4 books, and it's really good.
Same with my mom read them last year. I recommended to her, and she was like, "These are great." Yeah. She's going through all Naomi Novik stuff now.
Yeah, Temeraire is the name of one of that Chinese dragon that hatches.
Yes.
So
what is it?
Temeraire, I think.
Temeraire.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like putting this stuff and like going back and thinking about Animus Dragons. I was thinking, well, what would my Icewing gift be? And after thinking about it, I want the gift of curation. I would want to know, here's what's happening in my life right now. This is the book you should read. Oh, is this what you're currently going through? Why don't you watch this tonight? I would love for someone to curate my life so that, I don't necessarily give me the answers. Just, point me in the right direction. Go ahead and, what's my next series? I would love that. So thank you for
I think they call that a personal assistant. Again, another thing that rich and powerful people in this world get to have that we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, what would your Animus gift be to the world?
Oh man, universal healthcare? I don't even know. Yeah.
That's a good
I say
one.
that jokingly, but
No.
Why not just get rid of disease?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't solve all the problems. I guess you can still break a leg, but
yeah.
does that
I don't
cover
know.
cancer?
Again, I need more time to think about it. The fact that I would have to have a lot of time to think about it probably says a lot too. It probably wouldn't be the diarrhea for everything. Probably not that one.
The real issue with that gift is you would spend all of your time filtering it down to the people that you really wanted to have it, and that's just what a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Or just have
Also,
a
then I
phrase.
would live in a world with diarrhea everywhere, and that just
There's a lot of people that you want to have. I mean, this is everywhere.
Well, if everybody had diarrhea all the time forever, that would.
I thought it was limited to just your enemies.
Yeah, I thought there was that one kid who bothered you.
No, because of that one kid.
Oh, I see.
You
You're
all
lashing
are
out
gonna
at me.
pay. Yeah.
Oh, that's much worse.
Yeah. I pooped my pants once in 3rd grade, and Johnny teased me. Now you're all gonna...
Now everyone's got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm really stuck on Ben's idea that, you have to be a little bit dirty to really get that much power.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
It's what Uncle Ben talked about. Not this guy,
mean,
but with great power comes great responsibility.
Obviously, like some people just win the lottery or whatever. I get that, but for the most part, I think you make the choices first, and then the power comes later. And then you just live in a different world, right?
Yes.
There's only so much power, and you have to take it from other
Ultra
people.
wealthy, ultra rich people.
Yeah.
They don't live in the same world as us. When I saw Asher the other night, I very casually threw out and eat the rich, right? And he's like, yeah. He goes, but what do you consider rich? And I was like, well. So after that, I did some research, and I can comfortably say that my household is not in the top 1% of income in New York State.
Okay. Well, New York State does include a lot.
I blame my
New
attorney
York.
wife.
That's,
I know
I
that's
mean-
what I would have figured because of like Manhattan and stuff.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be close. But
like if
and if you go per person in the household, we drop way down the list.
Well, give them time, Ben. Give the children time.
No, it's Ben and his wife are behind. It's really his.
It's
Yeah.
all the kids. Yeah.
Madeline's got quite the racket going on, honestly.
See, I was trying to be I wasn't going to name names of your family members because I was trying. You can. That's fine. I just
No, I know
it was
what
my
you mean.
place too. Yeah.
I'm going to be, I was trying to not use Leola's name early on. I can't. I use her name in every sentence all the time.
Right.
Talk about that kid all the time. So
She's
there
an
you go.
important person
She is.
to somebody.
Yes, to somebody. But she is important to us, to just like the fact that she got so excited about these books.
Yeah.
I loved, besides the fact that I enjoy it, and I will enjoy forever annoying her with Animus Dragons. I love that my father-in-law read all of them. All of them.
So
If you
It was just
want.
great.
If you
so
want,
much
when I
kid
turn
lit.
when I turn 18, I can make everybody care about Leola.
That might be too much.
Oh, okay.
Too much. But thank you for the offer.
Kid lit is so often so bad, right? And not like bad even just from an adult standpoint, but just bad from like a kid standpoint.
Yeah.
It's
I think
nice
it's
when you
getting
get
better.
A cool one.
If I had to, I think that writing in general is improving the last few decades.
AI?
Across the genres, I think just in general, writing is getting higher quality. And maybe
for
it's
sure,
because,
genre writing has gotten better, right?
Yeah, but I say that like across genre, like just in general. Yeah, maybe not literature. I don't know, but I'm thinking children's books, young adult books. Just the quality
Fantasy
of
and
writing.
sci-fi,
And it could be
absolutely.
because this will be the. Was it this podcast where I said, the world is getting flat metaphorically, but not literally? I think, more authors have the opportunity to share their talent than ever before because of the internet and because of, connectivity and stuff. So yeah, I really, there's like science fiction. I love science fiction and fantasy, and looking back at like the old science fiction, there was some standout really awesome stuff, but for the most part it all sucked.
It's bad.
There's just a lot of crappy stuff, and there's a lesser percentage of crap now, I think.
Well, okay, is there just more getting churned out? Like, is it the percentage, or is it just sheer volume, and that we have access to be able to pick up what's good, promote it, among ourselves?
Like you said before, Danielle, there's more curation now, right? I mean, not necessarily personalized, but I can go through 3 or 4 websites and look at lists of science fiction books that were released this month, identify the ones that show up on every list, and be like, those are the ones I'm going to read.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still want my curation magical.
Have you read the Bartimaeus books at all?
No.
Have you, Sean?
No, I have not.
Ooh. Bartimaeus,
Bartimaeus. So good for, again, kids age, middle age reads. So good. It was I was never a big Harry Potter fan. I read a few of the books, but I was like too old when they came out to really get into them. So I read the first 3 or 4 books. I was like, but then I read these books and I was like, oh, this is what that should have been. This is like just such a way better version of that.
Fantastic. No, I will definitely. I am starting to read more and more. I think last year, maybe over the summer, I sort of kicked myself in the pants again and just started reading more often, and have made an effort to do that so far this year.
How do you guys feel about?
A few books lined up, but
how do you feel about audiobooks? Are you audiobook fans?
Driving for me, I listen to audiobooks if it's long drives, and if David Tennant's reading.
It doesn't matter what he's reading.
It doesn't matter.
Wow. So,
Epicurious Rapaces.
I'm curious your thoughts, but then I have a follow up on the narrator thing. But Ben, do you do audiobooks?
I don't listen to audiobooks. I tried I tried once to listen to an audiobook. This is years ago. We were driving south to my parents' house, and I popped in a Discworld Terry Pratchett book for my wife and I to listen to, and I drove all the way to Ohio before realizing that I'd completely missed a turn. I had to do like 2 hours onto the drive because I was just tooling around listening to the book. I'm like, oh, this is great.
Oh.
So I generally can't pay attention to 2 things.
That's fascinating because I can absolutely listen to a book while doing things like driving or mowing the lawn or vacuuming, doing dishes. I can't do any like work. I can't listen to it while I'm like doing work during the day. But what I was going to say too is this isn't just a matter of quantity. Narration skills, voice actors have gotten freaking amazing in the past like decade or so. Oh my goodness, is that a skill set that is just really just blossomed. There are some narrators.
I gotta believe the whole audiobook industry has just exploded. I mean, I don't have any specific knowledge or data to back that up, but anecdotally, I hear so much more about people listening to audiobooks and reading audiobooks.
Agreed, and I think the two are probably related. Because it's a bigger, bigger world. That means that there's more money for more talented voice actors and stuff. And
I'm sure there's lots of talented voice actors I haven't heard about yet, but I wasn't kidding about David Tennant.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it. I mean, when you said that, because there are some
so good, and he does 1 or 2. I mean, he does quite a few. But there was a series Leola also got into, which she tends to read a book, then listen to a book, and then like she'll sort of go back and forth. And there's one that she hasn't gone back and reread. She only listens to it because he's just, it's wonderful. Like just listening to the cadence of his voice. He does some singing. His voices are spectacular.
Yeah, I have a couple that I just love. Like Luke Daniels is one of the best narrators ever. He's just amazing. R.C. Bray is another that's just, he did the original The Martian. It was redone by Will Wheaton because of some weird contractual stuff. But the original, and Will Wheaton is fun too.
I think I listened to that audiobook. It must have been him because I don't remember Will Wheaton.
R.C. Bray was the original one. There were some funny things. So R.C. Bray does a lot of science fiction fantasy stuff, and he's just an incredible narrator. But he's not a nerdy nerd who nerds. And so like part of The Martian, they were looking up an ASCII table, like to do communication. And ASCII is all caps ASCII, ASCII, and you pronounce
Did he spell it out?
No, he called it ASC2. But then they actually did an edit. Yeah, they did an edit where he voiced over the proper stuff and like re-uploaded it to Audible. But now it's gone on Audible. That version is gone. So yeah. I mean, I have it. If you want a bootleg copy of R.C. Bray reading The Martian,
Well, don't give it to Ben. He'll wind up in another state.
That's true.
That is, though. When I say I listened to it, I listened to that because I was driving to Wisconsin and I was trying to listen to a new book.
You just meant to drive to the grocery store, but
it's like, am I in Wisconsin already? And I tried to listen to a new book and I could not navigate. And to drive to Wisconsin from my house, you get on the highway and you go west. Mm-hmm. And you don't get off for 12 hours, and that's it. And I couldn't do it, and so I turned on the Martian audiobook because I'd read the book and seen the movie, and I didn't mind tuning out and only catching bits of it.
Gotcha.
As I looked up at exit signs that went whizzing by because they weren't my exit, but I still had to think about it. My brain is incapable of doing that. I'm very not good.
How to Be Perfect was something that we listened to in the car a lot, and I don't remember which of the two of you recommended it as an audiobook. Mike Schur.
What one?
How to Be Perfect. Mike Schur. So Ben, I think you read it, and then
Sean, I read the book. Sean would have listened to it.
Yeah, and it was a great audiobook. It was very well done. But like that was
read by the author. So and
it's bite size, and it was like just meaning the chapters were. No one got distracted. We didn't wind up, up in Canada, but it was really great. And again, another book that led to so many great conversations with a kid. So that was another really top contender for us.
Yeah. I believe it. That was a great book.
Yeah. I like things that, I don't know, may seem trite, but that lead to really clear conversations with my kid.
You read all those Mish album books, don't you?
Yeah.
Could you see the judgment in my face?
Yeah. This is a shorter topic, and I kind of suspected it would be, but
that's okay. No, because I think it led into some cool discussions too about different stuff.
It's hard for me not to keep talking about book stuff. I just,
I think we should.
You want to talk about books, so I'll go all day.
I do too. Yeah, like talking about The Martian just made me think of Project Hail Mary, which was such an incredible book. Like Andy Weir did
that one, Danielle?
Did you?
I don't know that one either.
Oh, so fun.
Gosh, it's such a good book. Like his follow-up to The Martian was fine. It was Artemis was the name of it. It was fine. But it wasn't The Martian. But then like his next book was Project Hail Mary, and I think it was just as good as The Martian. It was such a just fun. Yeah.
It had a much more interesting, well, not much more interesting. It had a better premise than Artemis.
Yeah.
And he really leaned into like he figured out what it was he was writing about, and he wrote about that.
Right.
And it's my favorite subgenre too. It's First Contact. That's my favorite subgenre of science fiction. So,
check it out. I think I have 4 books and 3 series after this conversation.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Project Hail Mary, Jenny almost read it because it was on Obama's list of like books you got to read.
It's so good. It really is.
They're making a movie.
Oh, that'll be cool. Now Donna read and really like Donna reads like crazy now, which is just so incredibly sexy. But she read Little Monsters or something? Ordinary Monsters. Have you read Ordinary Monsters or heard of Ordinary Monsters? It was released not too long ago, but everybody who read it just loved it. It said it was amazing. I haven't read it, but that was one that she just really liked. And that's not normally like the kind of book that she likes. And she really liked it, so that kind of speaks volumes.
Yeah. I keep a Trello board of books to read, so I shall be adding Trello cards for each one of these. Thank you very much.
I have a Kindle library of books to read because I'm like, I want to read that book. I guess I'll buy it.
I have a shame pile. So Donna works at a bookstore now. She works at an indie bookstore, and damages, like when a book comes in damaged, not all the time, but very often the publisher says either donate it or destroy it, but sending it back, it's not worth the shipping cost, right? So. And you'd be shocked how poorly they package books when they send them, because a lot of books arrive damaged. But the damage is like, the dust cover has a 1/4 inch tear, and so Donna will bring home a lot of books. And so the shame pile in our house is physical.
I love that. Well, I just love having that many extra books in the house.
I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty stinking awesome.
Yeah, we've been purging for a while. Just there are so many books that felt so important to hold on to, that we got to a point. It was, does Leola need to read the copy that I read, and will she even want to read that copy as it starts to fall apart? And so
we've decided
been hard.
We're just gonna build more bookshelves. Honestly,
yeah,
we're just building so many. We're just
like,
all our walls are gonna be
lean into it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
At first, Donna's like, no, I don't want, but she's even gone to the point where, well, we'll just cover this whole wall with books. It's fine.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
Love it. I love it. Well, thank you for listening to me talk about this topic.
Thanks for talking. I think that's pretty cool.
I like Animus.
Yeah. I was telling Ben, I was making a video earlier, and the excitement that I had for the day was in the middle of the video, I said, let's go feed the birds. And I switched to my external bird cam and hung my head out the window and talked into the bird camera for a little bit during the video.
Do it now.
That's my excitement.
He's right.
I can't I can't redirect the audio. That's the problem. Because we can
We'll do
switch.
the audio for you. Don't worry. We'll
I can
do the audio
talk.
for you.
Oh yeah. So you go do your thing, talk out the window, and we'll voice over.
Okay. Ready?
I'm Sean. I'm walking over towards the window. Because this is how we talk. Oh! We're doing a terrible job.
Sorry. And
Sorry,
man.
We gotta put our face back on.
That was it.
Sean, I gotta tell you, we nailed it.
Just wait till you watch it.
Nailed it. You're gonna love this.